Welcome back to my channel. My name's Georgie and I'm a knitter from London. Today I thought I'd do something a bit different. I don't think I've spoke about it so far on the channel, but I actually enjoy spinning as well as knitting. So I thought I'd go through all of my hand spun yarns because I haven't been doing it for that long, so I feel like I've got quite a good amount where I can kind of show you where I am, and then maybe we'll talk about some things that I want to do in the future and talk about some rovings that I have. So yeah, we will see. So I'm just gonna jump right in. I've got them all here. I'm probably gonna try and do it in chronological order, but to be honest, I can't quite remember what order I did these in. But my first ones here I've got are some of my very first spun yarns. Here I have this little bit of orange. It's orange, yellow, red and brown, and then like a neutral. And the way I got into spinning was, I don't know, I must have seen it online. Well, yeah, like everything. I saw it online and I wanted to get into it, and I bought myself a drop spindle and a kit of, what was it? It's got a name. Like, I think it was extra tops. So that's like bits that come off of other bigger bits, so leftovers almost. Yeah, and this was probably one of the first things I ever spin on a drop spindle. As you can see, it's super uneven. The twist, which if you spin, you'll know that the twist is very important. You have to get like the right amount of twist, or if not, you have to ply it so that cancels itself out. But you can see like there's some smaller bits, some bigger bits. Yeah. But for a first spin, I remember when I made this, I was so excited because this is actual yarn. Like, I took something fuzzy and not yarn into yarn. So I was very happy with myself. I think I first started getting into spinning about 2 years ago when I was in university. I remember I was trying to do a bit for my third year, but I actually specialised in sewing when I did university. If you didn't know, well, I don't think I've ever mentioned it, but I did textile design at university, which is kind of why I enjoy knitting, but I actually didn't go into knitting in my course because it was machine knitting and I really didn't enjoy that. So I specialised in sewing, and I remember I did try to use some hand spun yarn for that, but it didn't work out. I actually think this is the next yarn I'm showing you, which is my first ever plied yarn. Obviously, again, it's very uneven, very bulky, something that I wouldn't spin now. But this was the first time I ever tried spinning, and I think this was made from leftovers from that uni project, because that whole project was about shells and iridescence, and I think I can see some of the blue bits and some of the white bits were used from that project. But yeah, it didn't end up working out for my uni project. I didn't really use it for anything in the end. So I always put back when I use or I do random spins, except for like these two, because they're like my first evers of this thing. I always try and reuse the fibres, because you can do that quite a lot with spinning. If you don't like something, you can recard it and reuse the fibre. So yeah, those are my first two. So these are some of my earlier spins with the drop spindle, which, if you don't know about spinning, a drop spindle is a handheld spinning device. It's not like a wheel or a treadle. You basically spin it, and then the gravity obviously creates the twist, and then you kind of let that pull through the yarn, and then you wrap it round, and you basically just keep doing that. It is a little bit fiddly and it takes a little while to get used to, but once you do, it's quite satisfying. But it is very slow. To make a good amount of yarn with a drop spindle, you do have to do hours of work, and it's quite repetitive as well, because once you are done like carding and making rolags, or even if you're using a bat, you then basically have to just do the same thing over and over again until you get a good amount. So these are some of the first ones I did. This is obviously plied. It's actually really pretty. I think that I blended these fibres for this yarn. I can't remember, it's quite a while ago, but it's very, very pretty. I love the way it sits in this hank. It's just like, that's what I enjoy. And then this one is it isn't plied, so it's a single. I don't usually do singles. This is very like bulky. I think I actually probably made this mostly from scraps, because looking at the colours, I don't think I would have chose those. I'm not sure. Yeah, I did do this on the drop spindle. And yeah, it's really pretty, but it's obviously not much. It's probably like less, well, it's definitely less than 50 grams. But yeah, it's very cute. Next, I have another little plied one. So this is my first bigger amount. As you can see, it's plied. It's actually so pretty. I tried to keep to quite a contained palette, because I think if you go too wild and use too many colours, you can end up muddying the colours when they're spun. I actually spun this on a drop spindle, which is quite crazy that I even did this. I remember that it took me a really long amount of time, because obviously, as I just said, doing it on a drop spindle means that you have to do hours of work and it's very slow. I've never used this yarn. That's one thing about spinning yarn, is that it looks so lovely when it's in like a hank or a skein like this, that I then don't ever want to use it. And I feel like it's just so pretty that you don't want to use it, and you've put in so much work to make this gorgeous yarn. It's almost like, why would you want to knit with it? And as well, I can't really make anything massively substantial because there isn't enough. So yeah, I don't know. For now, I'm very happy just to keep it like this. I do really like it. I'm actually going to open this one. So it's just like a normal skein if you would buy. It's in like a, I don't know if this has a name, like it being like this. I want to say it's in the round, but it's I don't know. And then I've got like just scraps to tie it in the figure of 8, which is also what you get if you were to buy it. And then you just twist and it should, oh yeah, just pop that over there. It's not as neat as it was, but that'll do. Yeah, that one's really cute. I feel like I should name them. I don't know, or is that a bit strange? I don't know. I just feel like I spend so much time on them that it would be nice to call them little things. Maybe if I was to ever sell them, I would. Not that I ever think I would do that, because I put in so much time and effort into these. I couldn't imagine letting them go. Let me show you a few more random ones. This one was done from a little pack that I bought that was, like I said, it was like leftover tops, so it was only a small amount. I don't know if I spun this on the spinning wheel or if I did this on the drop spindle, but it's actually very pretty. It's got a really lovely, you can't see it on camera, but it has almost like a sheen to it, which means it might have like some silk in it. Let me try and, it's very pretty. The colours are like blues and then reds. It's kind of like coppery. Very, very cute. So that's that one. Again, tiniest amount. Literally won't be able to do anything with this. The only thing I could do is try and use it like in a scrappy project, but we'll see. I do just like having these tiny little skeins hanging around, like they're just so cute. And then this one is just a tiny little leftover that's spun together because I think I was testing, I'm pretty sure I did this on my e-spinner and I was testing out plying. And as you can see, one part of that is from this green skein and the other part is probably something to do with this. I kind of love that about spinning. It's almost zero waste because you can use all the scrappy little bits, keep them together and make something so gorgeous. So that is one of my favourite things about knitting, is that you can use all the scraps. So it works really well. They complement each other. You can even save up. I'm sure a lot of people have seen it, and there's a creator that does it really well, Expression Now on Instagram, and she cards like scrappy bits of yarn into fibres. And yeah, she's just a really good spinner. I love looking at her work. Let's have a look what else. I've only got a few more bits because spinning takes a long time. But this one is really cute. So I think this is also done on the drop spindle. It is a pink and blue, so the whole idea was that I'd have one pink thread, one blue thread, which is something that I don't really do. I usually mix all the colours into both singles, and this one I decided not to. A lot of the pink I think was recycled fibre from an old Wool and the Gang chunky, or was it Wool and the Gang? No, I don't know. It was a big chunky yarn that was easily carded out into roving. So the pink is a lot of that. And then the blue is from just like roving that I've had laying around. So yeah, it's quite pretty. It's interesting. It was a bit more of an experiment because I just wanted to see what it was like to have two completely different coloured plied yarns, and it is quite nice. Next one I want to show is this one. Again, this is just like another scrappy kind of piece, like pinks and reds. It's really cute. It's quite fuzzy because I think, oh yeah, I remember now. This one actually has some scrappy bits of yarn in it. I think I had leftovers of cotton and wool from a project, and basically I cut them up into like tiny little bits because I was trying to replicate neps, but I don't think it really worked because when you spin them they kind of fall out. I don't know if you can see, but you can see some little flecks in there, and that was the idea, is that I'd have little flecks. They definitely did mostly fall out, but it is actually such a pretty yarn. Like, it's a really lovely colour. I would love to do like a redemption yarn in this, and actually I have some roving in very similar colours, so yeah, maybe I'll do a bigger yarn that is inspired by this one. We will see. Let me just put that. Very cute. Okay, so my final two yarns are my most recent yarns and probably my best, and also my biggest. These two, look at them. It's just so much. I just weighed this one and it's 140 grams, and I just find that crazy that I can even make this amount of yarn. Like, that is quite a substantial amount. I don't know the meterage because I haven't quite worked out how you can do that. There is a way. I think it's if I was to put it on an umbrella and then I measured it, well, I guess if I was to put it on an umbrella and I measured it once and then I counted how many strands I have and times it by that, that would get me the meterage. But there's another way of doing it where if it's got weight and you know if it's a DK or if it's a worsted or whatever, you can work it out. But yeah, let's talk about these. So this is actually the first ever proper big yarn that I spun on the e-spinner. As you can see, it's like a mainly pink yarn. I bought two massive packs of roving from Hope Macaulay. If you don't know Hope Macaulay, get to know. She does some gorgeous hand knit pieces. She's based in Ireland and she uses roving. Like, the whole pieces are made out of roving. So she was doing big kind of offcuts sale, and I bought two whole bags, and in that there was loads of this pink roving. So I decided to base this yarn around that, and then I basically picked like a 3 or 4, or it might be 5 or 6 other colours to go with it. So I picked like a green, a pink, a yellow, there's a tiny bit of blue, I think that's it. But yeah, as you can see, it's so pretty. And then I plied it with just a plain pink of the same fibre. So this is basically, oh, I didn't say as well, but literally all of these are basically 100% wool. They're either 100% wool or I don't know what they are. So yeah, this one actually has a small bit of acrylic in it because some of the yarns that I got in that pack were like acrylic or polyester. I'm not too sure, but that is quite hard to work with. Spinning is basically for natural fibres. I feel like you never see people really spinning with anything but wool or silk, or maybe mohair, I don't know. I just want to preface again that I'm completely novice. Is that the right word, novice? Maybe I should. I just want to preface again that I'm completely amateur to yarn spinning. Even though I've been doing it a couple years, I feel like I honestly have just dipped my toe in the water. I probably know 5% of what there is to know out there. And yeah, I feel like this is probably a lifelong thing to me. It does take a little while to, you know, spin yarn. So every time that I'm doing something, I'm learning, but it just takes a little while. So yeah, bear that in mind, that I don't know what I'm doing, basically. And then this is my most recent spinning project. This is actually a redemption yarn. So I spoke about earlier that I did a yarn inspired by seashells for my uni project, and it used iridescent kind of colours like blues, purples, pinks and white like pearl. This is a redemption yarn of that yarn. I don't have that yarn because I'm pretty sure I re-carded it, but the idea for this yarn was to be inspired by like seashells and iridescence, and I definitely think this hits it. It has blues, purples, lilacs, teal and white, and oh gosh, it just feels so good that it's like such a big amount of yarn. Like I made this. I'm not sure if you can see, I'll try and get a good bit, but it also has Angelina fibre, which is what makes it sparkly in some places. Can you see? You can't really see, but it does have some sparkle in it, which is what I think makes it so cute. And yeah, I'm really proud of this. This is the most yarn I've ever made, and I don't know what I'm going to use this for, but I defo feel like I could actually knit with this. I need to try and figure out the meterage, because without the meterage it's very difficult to start a project. But even if I end up just doing like a, oh look there, you can see some of the sparkle. Even if I end up doing like a Sophie scarf or just a scarf in general, I think I'd be happy. It would be so nice to see that this came from fibre to be all the way to like a garment that I can wear. That would be like a goal for me one day, is to spin enough fibre to actually knit a wearable garment with it. That I think is so cool. When I see people online do it, I'm like, wow, that is dedication. So yeah, I've just re-hanged that awfully. So that is all my spun yarn that I have. But one more thing that I wanted to show was some fibre packs that I've got recently. I bought them off a website. I actually can't remember the name. It's called like, I will find it and I'll put it here. But let me show you quickly. First one I've got is this one, which is called Sprinkly Winkly. They come in 100 grams quantities, and I bought 4, so this is 400 grams of fibre. I've actually never opened the bag, so let's do that now. I'm pretty sure, oh, it's so soft. I think this is 100% wool, but it could have maybe some silk in it. Look at it, like that is just crazy. Like, what do you mean that's literally just like fibre? I almost feel like I don't want to use it because it's so pretty, but I obviously must use it. I must. But yeah, I'm not sure what sort of yarn. I feel like it'd be so cute as a single, but I just don't really do singles. So yeah, that's that, and that's the biggest quantity I got. By the way, I found out the website is World of Wool, so yeah, shout out World of Wool. They have so many amazing fibres, and I actually got a free 50-gram ball of wool with this because I bought quite a lot. This one is the one that I was talking about that could be used for like a redemption yarn for this. So this one is actually called Aries, which is funny because I'm an Aries. So this is 100 grams. I feel like that seems like so much more than 100 grams, but obviously it's done by weight. But yeah, I think that will definitely work for a redemption yarn for this little girl. So that's really fun. And then the last one I got is a bit rogue. This is called Aurora Borealis, which is obviously the Northern Lights, and that's what it's inspired by. This is 300 grams. And to be honest, this isn't really my kind of vibe. When I bought it, I don't know, I was having a lapse of judgment. I thought, let me do a dark yarn. I haven't really done like a dark yarn before. Oh, so let's get it out. This is it. It's actually crazy. The thing is, I don't know why I bought this, because what am I going to knit with this that I would then use or wear? But we'll think about that later. But obviously it's so pretty. It does look like the Northern Lights. I'm not sure if maybe I could incorporate maybe some light blue or maybe a lighter green just to make this easier to work with. It's literally so soft. It's annoying that well, it's not annoying, but I wish they had the composition on the bag, because I literally can't remember what the compositions are for these, but it feels softer than wool. So I would assume it has some sort of silk in it or something. But yeah, that is so pretty. And yeah, I do also have a load of random fibres. They're all in a drawer behind me, and I still have loads of roving from my Hope Macaulay offcuts thing. So yeah, watch this space. Maybe I'll do a little spinning vlog one day. That would be fun. But it does take a lot of time to get all these things together and card it all and rolag it all and then spin it. So yeah, let me know if you have any ideas of what you would knit with those, because I need some inspo. So I hope you all had a good time watching this video. I hope you all have a lovely week and enjoy the sunshine. And yeah,